Alright, so we got interrupted. The United Kings and Queens of the Northwest, the United Kings and Queens of the Southwest, the United Kings and Queen of the Northeast, and the United Kings and Queens of the Southeast are the higher courts of the unincorporated body. The California Riders is a high court of the unincorporated body. The Amador County Guardians is a court of the unincorporated body. The court's decision is always established by unanimous vote. The unanimous decision and explanation of decisions must be recorded in the opinions of the court. The court is established to anoint new members and pupil members by unanimous vote, to establish a new court, to determine a proposal of common issue filed and served to the entire highest court, determined by unanimous vote. Record of the determination and explanation must be recorded in the record of opinions of common issues. Final notice must be delivered to all members and pupils and published to the public at large. To establish an actual wrong was committed by evidence. Physical and first-hand testimony by two witnesses are only permitted as evidence. Issue protective orders, issue relief orders, issue judgments. Decide a unanimous remedy for establishing wrongs of Section D of this section by working for the injured party for 4 hours a day, not to exceed 1 week. In cases of accidental or intentional death, working may be imposed as indefinitely and based upon release by the injured party. 2. Education of the actual wrong for 4 hours a day, not to exceed 1 week. In cases of accidental or intentional death, education may be imposed as indefinitely and based upon the release of the injured party. 3. Exile from the kingdom. Anyone at any moment may choose exile and have leave in peace. Members and pupils must never help an exile and will be subject to exile for helping an exile. 4. An amends equal to loss of property or damages for physical injury may be imposed. In cases of exile and in cases of non-members, the court will assume responsibility for enforcing the amends. The right of due process belongs to all peoples in and out of the kingdom. The due process of establishing a wrong is as followed. Complaints will be first filed by the accuser. The court will determine the validity of the complaint, issue a summons to respond with a copy of the complaint and a copy of the due process of the court by physical delivery to the accused from a unanimously elected guardian, not a party to the action. Proof of service must be filed by the guardian. All further required service will be performed by the same guardian, subject to request for new guardian filed by the accuser, accused, guardian, or the court. Subject to request for relief to use registered mail. 2. The accused shall have 70 days to file a response, or for reasonable cause an extension of time may be filed before or within 7 days after the due date, and the request must be granted and notice served. Subject to a request for determination of abuse of the process of request for extension of time that may be filed within 7 days from receipt of notice of extension of time. Failure to file a response does not prohibit the court from the responsibility of determining the issue in open court. Notice of this fact must be issued on the summons to respond. The court will determine and set a date for trial not less than 42 days from the due date of the response or from the extended due date if an extension was granted, or at the court's next available open date for trial. Notice of the trial date must be filed and served on the accuser and the accused. For reasonable cause, a request for an extension of time may be filed within 14 days after receipt of notice of trial date, and the request must be granted and notice served, subject to a request for determination of abuse of process of request for extension of time that may be filed within 7 days from the receipt of notice of extension of time. The court will determine a king of kings or queen of queens by unanimous vote to administer the due process of the court in trial, subject to requirements of the specific guardian position. The due process is as follows. The court prays for Hayah Hawah to guide the court. Accuser presents complaint, subject to cross and court examination. Accused presents defense, subject to cross and court examination. Accuser presents closing arguments. Accused presents closing arguments. Accuser answers the accused's closing arguments without presenting new arguments. Any member of the court may request any evidence. The court establishes its determination by unanimous vote if an actual wrong has occurred as followed. An intentional wrong has occurred. An accidental wrong has occurred. As mutually liable wrong has occurred. No wrong has occurred. No decision. The parties have come to their own acceptable compromise. The administrator, King of Kings, must not vote or give their opinion during the determination stage. Any member or pupil that has any first-hand knowledge or physical evidence must offer themselves as a witness or may be compelled as a witness if the court has been notified the member or pupil may have any first-hand knowledge or physical evidence. Non-members may offer any first-hand knowledge or physical evidence or may be compelled as a witness if the court has been notified the non-member may have any first-hand knowledge or physical evidence. Any witness is precluded from voting. The administrator may be precluded from voting based upon reasonable cause, by request, by the accuser, the accused, any witness that is not a member or pupil, or by the court. The court must wait 7 days after trial to issue its determination. The court must properly review all evidence. The court's determination will be due 14 days after trial. Any member of the court may file requests for an extension of time for determination, and notice must be issued to the rest of the court, the accuser and the accused. Any member of the court may issue a request to reconvene the trial to discover and request evidence. This request would reset the determination time restraints to start from the end of the new trial date. The determination will be finalized after 35 days after the day the determination is issued. Anyone may file an appeal to the high court from the court, to the higher court from the high court, or the highest court from the higher court, on or before 35 days after the determination is issued. When an appeal is filed, the determination of the lower court is destroyed and notice of appeal is served to all parties. A trial date is set no less than 28 days after the day of notice of appeal is served, or at the court's next available open date for trial. Notice of the trial date must be filed and served to all parties. For reasonable cause, an extension of time may be filed within 7 days after receipt of notice of trial date, and the request must be granted and notice served. subject to a request for determination of abuse of process of a request for extension of time that may be filed within 7 days after receipt of notice of extension of time. Article 3, Section 6, F 4 is the due process of the High Court, Higher Court, and Highest Court for trial. When a determination is finalized, notice is filed and served on all parties. Final decisions and explanation of decisions must be recorded in the opinions of the court. Final decisions and explanations are published amongst the members and pupils and in the public at large. All members not in unanimity with the majority of the court must provide within 7 days from the date of the vote is due. Reasons why they are not in agreement with the majority. Provide a remedy to bring the court into unanimity. Any member that does not provide A or B, or their reason is issue is in conflict with this Constitution, will not have a vote in the matter, subject to a request for an extension of time that may before the day the vote is due. The request must be granted and notice served to all parties, subject to a request for determination of abuse of the process. Abuse of the process of request for extension of time that may be filed within 7 days from receipt of notice of extension of time. Article 4. We are the great family. Members and pupils are family members. Non-members are family members that are unaware that we are a family, and we must give them the same love and honor as a family member. The greatest nation to ever be was a family. A. Members and pupil articles of conduct. We are the great family of Hayah Hawah. Live by honoring the 10 Commandments. As a family, if one of us is glad, we are all glad with them. As a family, if one of us hurts, we all feel that hurt. As a family, if one of us stumbles, we will carry them as the great Father carries his children until they are able to walk again. As a family, we may not always agree, but as a family, we will work to find an acceptable compromise. As a family, there are no secrets from what we do together, but there is privacy of the individual if they so desire. Family does not lie to family. As a family, our blood are inherited pupils and may claim member status when they have met the requirements of a member and unanimously voted in. As a family, we must preserve our histories. As a family, we must teach our posterity all knowledge, how to preserve all knowledge, and how to teach all knowledge. As a family, we must provide for all education and all knowledge freely for those that wish to learn. Knowledge and education can never be restricted. Everything must be taught. As a family, we must protect and preserve the great family. As a family, we must act with honor, virtue, trust, integrity, and righteousness. As a family, we must promote charity and give to those that are in need of help. As a family, we must provide natural foods for the family in and out of the kingdom. As a family, all banking practices are forbidden. Usury is forbidden. We must have an honest, fixed exchange of goods and services. All members are trustees and must give their lives to protect the beneficiaries and teach the beneficiaries to be the next trustees. The primary beneficiaries are the members, the pupils, and their families. Benefits are assumed. Secondary beneficiaries are everyone, non-members. Benefits are requested. Protection benefits are assumed. Article 5. The duty of a member is the highest honor of Hayah Hawah. To understand the world in which a member is entrusted, a member is required to study continuously and show an understanding of their studies. Knowledge is the greatest tool of the member. In order to receive a positive vote of acceptance to the duty of member, a pupil who has attained the minimum age of 25 years and has studied the recommended courses of study within this article, and that pupil can show to the court competency in those studies. The recommended course of studies for a pupil to become trustee are history of the world's religions and theology, history of the world's governments and empires, history of law, U.S. Constitution, California's 3 constitutions, constitutional law, trust law, and Hayah Hawah's Constitution. History of the secret societies, history of the trust and principles of the trust, philosophy, Pythagoras, Plato, Aristotle, etc., astronomy, cosmology, science, mathematics, geology, agriculture, economics, and money mechanics, history of the world's languages and the evolution of the written language, martial arts, the art of war, the prince, history of all wars of the world. Everyone over the age of 18 may submit a petition of pupil and must be granted a vote of acceptance to become a pupil subject to Article 3, Section 8. A member's children under the age of 18 must be granted vote of acceptance to become a pupil subject to Article 3, Section 8. All pupils must have a member to guide them in their studies and are expected to honor the Constitution as a member. All pupils that submit a petition of member and display to the court an understanding of the recommended studies must be granted a vote of acceptance to become a member subject to Article 3, Section 8. All members must be given and sign the following oath. I, full legal name, pledge to uphold the Constitution of name of county guardian, of the name of state writer, of the kings and queens, of name of the direction of the world map, of the free sovereign people of Hayah Hawah, a private unincorporated associated trust of free peoples of the tribe of Hayah Hawah. I pledge to exercise my duties of trust described in the great Constitution of the Kingdom of Hayah Hawah with honor and dignity. So help me, Hayah Hawah. All members must honor their oath in this Constitution. Members receive a new title. Anyone may bring a complaint to revoke a member's status and exile them, subject to the due process in Article 3, Section 7. Article 6. Proposals of common issue are the process in which the trust establishes an action that will be taken to benefit the trust without violating the principles of the great Constitution of the Kingdom of Hayah Hawah. All issues must show the effect to the 7th generation. Liability for all costs fall on the members. The process of proposal of common issue is as follows. A proposal of common issue must be served to all members and pupils of the entire unincorporated body of free sovereign peoples of Hayah Hawah, and then filed. Members opposed to the proposal must serve to all members and pupils of the entire unincorporated body of free sovereign people of Hayah Hawah their objection and resolution to common issue, and then file it within 14 days from receiving proposal. Pupils opposed to the proposal must serve to all members and pupils of the entire unincorporated free sovereign people of Hayah Hawah their pupils' objection and resolution to the common issue, and then file it within 14 days from receiving proposal. 28 days from receipt of proposal, the entire unincorporated body of free sovereign people of Hayah Hawah will discuss and resolve the objections. Then vote on the proposal. Subject to Article 3, Section 8, any proposal that is not unanimous becomes a dead issue. All proposals of common issue that receive a unanimous vote, subject to Article 3, Section 8, after 35 days will be recorded for perpetual memory. The record must have Section A through E and audio and video of the court's discussions to show why the proposal was passed. 7 days after the proposal of common issue is passed, the guardian positions are formed and guardians established by unanimous vote. The positions are established as followed: name of position, duty of the position, length of the position not to exceed 2 years, member-only position or pupil optional position. After the position expires, the position must be re-established. Anyone exercising expired duties may be subject to a claim of relief and damages subject to the process in Article 3. Article 7. This trust, like the phoenix, has the power to resurrect itself. Should all members fall, any pupil shall have the power to show their competence of the recommended studies and pledge the oath of member. Should all pupils fall, anyone who shows understanding in the recommended studies may become a pupil. Write, file, and present in order to show your understanding. Creation and blessing. I, Gabriel Omar King Jejena, Gabriel Omar Maliki Hena. My Hebrew, translated, a man to God is supposed to be the only king. Create and bless this trust for all ages to come. I give all my property and give my life to Hayah Hawah and you all. May Hayah Hawah guide you. Remember me, the one born on the day of the great far-seeing eagle and the sacred Quetzal bird, Men. Texel Kin, guardian of the sun in cosmic space. And then this is my birthday in Mayan, and that's how I got I am fall on the men's. And then the day it was executed, August 16th, 2018, in the year of Jubilee, forever known as the 17th Ra El September Iya in the Hanas Jehovah. And that is our Constitution. I don't know if it'll work, but it came from my heart in trying to establish a way for liberty to survive. All right, everyone. Hope you liked it. Like, comment, and subscribe.